Hey, everybody, it's Georgia Rose from Zencuda. Welcome to the Soul Space podcast. It's so nice to see everybody out there. I'm going to be going to the comments in a minute, see who's on with me tonight. But tonight it's going to be a really exciting show. I decided to go back to my roots, which is angels. And that was how I first opened. For those of you who follow me, you know that I have always done a lot of things with angelic energy and working in angelic energy. And I'm going to talk about the astrology a little bit, though. Hope you all had a great Thanksgiving. Mine was pretty uneventful, quiet. I realized on Sunday I hadn't gone out of the house for about 3 days because Wednesday and Thursday I spent all day cooking, and then Friday and Saturday I spent all day cleaning and decorating for the holidays. So it was kind of weird. I woke up like late Saturday afternoon. I woke up Saturday, and then late Saturday afternoon I kind of like came out of my long cooking and cleaning binge and was like, hey, I haven't gone out of the house since Wednesday. So I decided I better do something. Where I live, we had a boat parade. I didn't actually get to it, but some friends of mine told me it was great. And Sunday, I actually had a really nice half a day with some ladies that we meet for lunch or dinner every once in a while. A nice group, beautiful group of friends, and we went to brunch. So that was really a nice weekend. I got to actually relax a little bit. But you know me, I'm always working, so I actually did a reading on Saturday, private reading on Saturday, a couple of those, and some astrology charts on Sunday. So the city never sleeps. So anyway, welcome to the Soul Space. I'm going to dive right in with some astrology because we have a full moon in Gemini today, and that has already totally peaked and passed this morning. But as you know, full moon energy works for 3 days before and 3 days after. I happen to feel new moons much more than full moons. Don't really know why that is. Just have discovered over the years that that's really what I feel more than the full moons. Um, so this full moon is kind of a mixed bag, a lot of mixed energy. I'm sure those of you who've been following the energy have felt that, especially over the weekends. Um, just back and forth energy, a lot of very distracting energy. Hope you all had a pretty good Thanksgiving so that it wasn't too volatile for you. But with that mixed bag is going to continue. Really what the universe is kind of pushing us to do is release a lot of things between now and the new year. We're going to definitely have a lot of energy that breaks apart between now and January. Hopefully that'll be gentle for most of us. If we're doing our soul work, it usually is. But really, it's what you want to focus your attention on. And that's definitely letting go of things. Full moons are great for that and also for setting intentions. With Gemini, you want the themes to be something around communication. Gemini is an air sign, communication, as I had said. A lot of flights were delayed this weekend. I said that on the last show. That was probably going to happen. Um, so, really, what this energy wants you to do, or the best use of the energy, I should say, is to put yourself in situations and try and be in energy where you can focus your attention on things that make you feel more confident and more certain, because this energy can be very erratic. We have a lot of energy coming in, aspecting Neptune, which can make us very dreamy and very floaty. So, the monkey brain sometimes takes over quite a bit in this energy. You'll find that really continuing in through this week. So try and keep your thoughts in check. Make time for that quiet time, journaling, going out in nature, meditating really is going to help you in this energy. Try not to get too entangled into the intensity of events because you will find that we have a lot of intense events happening around us and in the world right now. So you want to try and, observe them, know they're happening, but stay out of the entanglement of them. Instead, conserve your energy for what's really, really important. Try and keep your focus on your long-term trajectory because that's really going to come into more clarity as we progress into 2024. There's been a very confusing year for a lot of us, confusing in what the trajectory actually is, where we're actually going. But in this month that we have coming up and into the new year, you're going to find that if you pay attention to what really deserves your attention, that those trajectories will become much more clear. So keep your eye on the future. We have the sun in Sagittarius right now, Mars in Sag. Those are energies that want us to be more future oriented. So as I said, Gemini is communication. It's also travel. It's also opposite, Sagittarius, which is the truth and the law. As I said last week, some strong opinions are going to come in, right and wrong. And then the energy really starts to shift a little bit around Tuesday, Wednesday. Today, the 27th, really be careful about how you interpret information and also how you give out information. So this is an energy where the moon is trining Venus, which is what the things we love and value, but it's also squaring Neptune, which can make us dreamy and go into illusion and mishear things and misjudge things and misinterpret things. So, especially when it's opposite Mercury, which is our communication, this is really an energy where you can mishear or misunderstand or take something very personal that isn't really that meant to be that personal. And also, we're under the same energy as the energy that we're listening and hearing to. So the way that we speak and communicate can also be very fuzzy. Things can come out wrong. We can misspeak and say the wrong thing or give someone a misdirection, which will come into like really kind of a lot of confusion. Distraction is really the name of the game this week. So definitely keep your focus on some things that can nurture you. Self care is very important. As the week progresses into Wednesday, the moon will then be in Cancer by Wednesday. And once the moon is in Cancer, you're probably going to get a good night's sleep. When the moon is in Gemini the next couple of days, it can make us very dreamy, erratic, wake up in the middle of the night, try and go back to sleep, that kind of energy. Then when Wednesday comes in and the moon's finally into Cancer, you'll find that good night's sleep. And that's an energy that you really want to make sure you're practicing some kind of self-care routine. Wednesday's a great day to go get the mani-pedi, go get a massage, or just, eat your favorite food within, reason. Watch your favorite TV show, sleep with the warm blankie, take a warm bath, something that's nurturing and makes you feel loved. Wednesday's a great day for that. But then as we progress into Thursday and throughout the rest of the week, we kind of get a little tricky energy. Venus goes right on the south node. When it does that, it kind of makes us go into a deeper reality. You'll feel ripples almost, what can happen in that energy, especially if you're very spiritual or you're very into psychic energy. What'll happen in an energy like that, Thursday, Friday, into the weekend, is you're going to find that these ripples of events or ripples of happening kind of blur timelines almost. And it goes into an energy where the past and the future kind of resonate in a present moment. Um, Kind of like sometimes you ever have an energy that feels like full circle or a déjà vu, but you realize that you're exactly where you're supposed to be because of the events in the past and where you want to go in the future. So it's almost like time slips out and you can see the culmination of all past events into a portion of what you are becoming. That's the only way I can really describe it, and you might have those feelings or those, like, bits of electricity come in as this week progresses because we have a tremendous amount of aspects, called quincunxes and septiles, which I won't go into. For those of you who are astrologers out there, you know what I mean. But when we have that kind of stuff happen, it's like stuff comes through from other time lapses, like almost like a bleed through, and what can happen is that time meets the past and the future at once, so that we can really go into seeing clues about where the future really lies. And this is almost a gift towards the end of the year for us because we've had such a blurry, confusing, odd year. And so as the year progresses into 2024, you're going to feel a little more clarity in that. And it'll almost be like the timelines no longer matter. Like, okay, that happened yesterday. We're in today. I can see where we're going in the future, but I just want to be in this moment because it's all going to merge in this moment. I hope that makes sense because sometimes it's very hard to explain and describe otherworldly feelings because they're otherworldly and we're trying to use words from this world to describe them. And that's really hard to do. Um, and that energy forms what we call a yod. Some people call a yod the finger of God. So when I see energy like that, I know it's divinely given to us for a reason, and I believe the reason this time around is really clarity. As the moon moves through Cancer and sextiles Jupiter, it's going to quincunx the sun. I know it sounds like Chinese for a lot of you guys, but just succinctly put, basically what it means is that Thursday, Friday are complicated days. The moon is the midpoint between Jupiter and the sun. Um, and it's just a day of high ideals. We can get lost in ideals. We get lost in fantasies. We can get lost in that all the way through the end of November into December. It's also an energy where, we all have a lot of hope and a lot of vision for the future, but this is an energy that hope and that vision gets pulled forward. It's not like we're relying on it to feel hopeful. It's almost like it pulls us into another energy. So What you really want to think about in this energy when you're doing those quiet moments, which I strongly suggest because the energy is still very topsy-turvy. Um, what this energy, the best use of it is to go into a little bit of a contemplation and ask yourself, especially when that moon is in Cancer, end of the day, Wednesday into Thursday, how do we take our feelings of loss and security? That's what the Cancer moon is all about. So, how do we take those feelings and bring them into a solid direction? And the reason why I say this and pick this particular aspect to talk about tonight, instead of really harping on the full moon in Jupiter, which we're really in now, is because what I found was when the moon goes into Cancer and a lot of the aspects that we have in astrology right now, this is making a lot of us revisit grief and revisit losses. And we can really get caught up in those fantasies of the way we thought things should be because they're not that way and get really into a blues kind of feeling, especially around the holiday. Maybe getting into a feeling of like grief and missing loved ones and parents and children and people who have passed. And it's really important that we understand this energy is supposed to lead us in a solid direction, not keep us in the grief. And I know grief comes up for a lot of us in this energy and during the holiday season. And the reason why it comes up is so that we can get clarity of where it's supposed to bring us. For example, I recently put a post on Facebook about how, I do mourn the loss of my parents. The holidays are never the same without our parents. For me, that's birthday because not their birthday, but mine. Because even as you get older and birthdays are no longer as important as they were when you were a child, and sometimes people don't know it's your birthday if you only live with around a small group of friends or whatever. So you kind of let the birthday slide sometimes as we get older. But the one unit you have in your life that never lets your birthday slide is your mom and dad. They always have to, like, see you on your birthday, do something for your birthday, that kind of thing. So for me, after I lost my parents, my birthday didn't feel the same for many years. And so I brought in new rituals and new traditions, and now I make sure I do celebrate my birthday, and usually I'll go out with friends or something, or I'll just invite a bunch of people out for cocktails or something and just celebrate myself a little bit. But it was very hard for me to get to that point. It was indeed a very long and winding road to sort out that type of grief. But here's the thing, guys. It may be a long and winding road, but we still have to take it. We still have to go through it. We still have to pass over the hills and the valleys and the mountains and the curves. Because if we don't, then we stay in the grief, in the loss, and our life direction is muted and overshadowed by that. And that almost becomes our identity. And the people on the other side, I can tell you, because as you know, I talk to them, they don't want us to do that. They want us to live our life, every beautiful moment of it. And the way we sometimes can get past that grief and go into living our life is by being grateful and thankful and celebrating for that person we've lost, that now they're in this fabulous, beautiful place and they're happy and they're joyful. And if they were in pain here or suffering here, they no longer are. And when I think of my mom and dad in paradise like that, I can't feel grief for a loss. I just can't. I'm happy for them. I feel my own loss, but it's not about me. It's about they went to this beautiful place. This energy, as the week progresses, exemplifies that. You're going to feel a heaviness. You might want to, curl up in your cocoon and kind of wallow a little bit in the grief, but that's not the direction you're supposed to go in. That's almost making your days and your moments and the things that you could be doing in joy insignificant. And not one single person that's listening to this broadcast right now or is out there in the world is insignificant enough to waste their life in grief. I can tell you that. So you have to take the long and winding road, but you'll figure it out. There's no shortcuts and you will do it. So for those of you who are grieving or in a little heavy energy, know that it may come up in this energy and it's complicated, but you will get through it. And the reason why the universe is giving it to you is so that you do get through it. Don't ignore it. Don't build a container around it. Know that you are the container, not the world. We don't live in this container. We live in our own container. So as Thursday and Friday progress, you're going to feel that otherworldliness. You're going to have breakthroughs. It's like I know we've all had those experiences where we're driving somewhere and all of a sudden we're there and we feel like we've been in the car 5 minutes, but it's really been a half hour, or, oh, I'm home already. I don't remember passing a certain street or a certain building. Those time hops are going to be extremely amplified come the end of the week, Thursday and Friday. And then our intro to December is we start to slowly feel the uncertainty, the confusion, the illusion that has been the theme of 2023. We slowly start to feel that really kind of lift a little bit. December, we have Venus going into Scorpio. We've got Neptune going direct December 5th. We've got a new moon December 12th, which also gives us a Mercury retrograde. But Neptune, Chiron, and Jupiter all go direct in December. So it lifts a lot of that dreamy, floaty, weird energy that we've gotten. So the best advice I can give to you guys for this week is do not get caught up in the intensity of the things that are going on around you. See all the research I do for you guys? Do not get caught up in the intensity of everything going on around you. Allow yourself to get caught up in the intensity of your own hopes, dreams, and wishes and goals. That's the intensity you want to be caught up into. So live internally, observe what's going on externally, but make yourself more of the priority than what's going on around you, and do a little self-care. So let me see who we have online here. Just getting rid of my notes on that. Okay, let's see who we have online here. Who are my comments? Hey, Anne, how are you? Elaine, hey, Elaine, I was happy to see your husband's made it through really well. Janine, hi, Sarah. I've got Marie. I've got Chris on tonight. Hola. Anita Mina is watching. How are you doing, Anita? How's the weather down by you? And Mom passed away on your birthday, 13 years before I could celebrate my birthday. But isn't that coincidental that you're mentioning that? Marie, it's so hard that, it's always that way. And I always say, there's a line in the movie with Molly Ringwald, 16 Candles. And she says, like, in 16 Candles, it's a great movie to watch. Like, I always, that's my relaxation sometimes when I just need to go a little, out of my everyday stuff. I actually will put on like an 80s or 90s movie because it was such a great innocent time, right? People had fun then. Um, and Molly Ringwald in 16 Candles, the theme of the movie is they forget her birthday and she's going to be 16, and they forget her birthday because her sister's getting married and people are coming and the house is this hubbub of activity. And so she's complaining to one of her school friends that her parents forgot her birthday. And she's like, even her grandmother forgets their birthday, and they're making her sleep on the couch because they've got relatives coming to the house. A great movie. And she's talking to her schoolmate and she says, I can't believe they forgot my birthday. Parents live for that bleep. And it's true. Parents live for your birthday, right? For those of you who have kids, you live for those kids' birthdays. So tonight I wanted to do a show, go back to my roots, which is angels. And as you all know, that is how I first opened into my own psychic gifts, was through the angelic realm. For about 2 years, I completely studied nothing but angels. I do consider myself a bit of an angelologist, as we call them. And I don't know if anybody out there knows this, but for every zodiac sign, every sign in the astrological wheel, there is an archangel that corresponds to that sign. So a lot of times you can think of that as one of your guardian angels because they're in charge of everyone who is born under that star sign. And I believe that divine beings are always there to help you. But angelic energy, unlike other energy, is an energy you have to call in. I remember one time I fell down the stairs in my house, which are like cement stairs going down into the basement laundry room. And I fell down and no one was home. And I really, for those few minutes, my lower back, I felt like I couldn't move. I'm like, oh my God, something really bad happened. And I summoned in my angels and I said, angels, surround me now and please help me get up and walk. And within a couple of minutes, I was okay. So angelic energy, just so you guys know, is around us all the time, but they will not help or intervene unless you ask them. You know, I also call upon my angels sometimes just to ease my day. If I'm having an argument with someone or having a conflict with someone, many times if it's with you, you will observe I kind of walk away or I turn my back for a few moments and I just go into a quiet prayer of contemplation and just say 2 lines. And I say, angels, please help me understand why I'm having this experience right now. Please give me empathy for this person. And when I wake up every morning, I ask the angelic realm, my prayer that I say every morning is simply, angels, please let me see what I meant to see, hear what I meant to see, and know what I meant to know today. And so I'm always bringing in angelic energy around me. Sometimes I'll go to the mall and there'll be no parking spaces, and I always seem to get one because I quietly ask my parking angels to give me a space. So that's kind of what I do in the world, and I live with some angelic energy around me. But please know that we're always in complete and harmonic alignment with angelic energy. Angelic energy is very high. When I go into the angelic realm, I can hear angels, and it's a very high pitched tone. It will sound like "ee." So if ever your ears are ringing or you hear a high pitched tone, a lot of times that's angelic energy around you. But we're always in alignment with that. And when we arrive and are what I like to say ignited, what some people call born, I say we're ignited into our incarnation of humanness. There are angels that are meant to walk with us in our lifetime. So let's start with the Aries angels. And what I'm going to say to you is Aries is Ariel. And Ariel is an angel, and all angels also have a color that is corresponding to them. So I'm going to go through that and talk a little bit about each angel in the zodiac. And then what I would strongly recommend for you is go and research that angel as maybe an energy that you really want to start working with in your life. So Aries is an angelic energy that brings in Ariel. And Ariel is, I'm just looking for my stuff here. Sorry, guys. Have a lot of notes, as you know. I'm a note taker. Okay. So Ariel governs the sign of Aries, and Archangel Ariel connects us to fairies and elemental energy. You know, sometimes if you turn out all the lights in your yard at night and you look out, you'll see some sparkles, and that's the elemental, a little fairy energy or gnome energy that lives in the earth. So Archangel Ariel brings to Aries vitality, fresh air. It also gives initiative to start a project and keep one going, because Aries is a very much a fiery energy that likes to start things. So Ariel helps us do that. And the way I use the angelic energy corresponding to zodiac signs is sometimes if I feel like I need more fire to do something, or I'm tired and maybe I want to bring in some Aries energy, I'll pray to Ariel because I know she works with Aries and fire. It also helps us restart or reset something in our life. You know, sometimes we have a project that dwindles. I've been trying to remodel my fireplace and it's kind of at a stuck point because I can't decide on a mantle. And so sometimes I'll bring in Archangel Ariel because she refreshes it and brings vitality to it and helps us restart something. Ariel also helps us forgive and move on because Aries is an energy of movement. So whenever we're stuck in an energy where we can't forgive someone or we need to forgive ourselves, Ariel and that Aryan energy is great to bring in because it really makes us move forward in our lives. Ariel also keeps us youthful. So she's a great angel to bring in if you're going for any kind of cosmetic procedure or a haircut or makeup. And it's just a pale pink aura around Ariel. She also is very a light, happy, carefree, happy spirit, almost like that elemental fairy type energy. And that's why Ariel is matched up with the sign of Aries because it brings in that beautiful energy. Next up is Taurus. And Taurus energy has the archangel Chamuel working with them. Chamuel is an energy of inner peace. And the way that I use the angel of peace, Shamuel, in my life is, believe it or not, and I know a lot of people pray to St. Anthony, but Shamuel is an angel that helps us find lost objects. Taurus is an earth energy. So Shamuel and the angel working in Taurus also helps us find an inner peace and a grounding that gives us a life purpose. So if you're out there looking for your life purpose, you may want to bring in some Taurus energy and the archangel Shamuel, because she will help us really ground into the clarity of what our purpose is meant to be. And angels don't really have a sex. They're not male or female. I sometimes call them he or she because I feel them either light or heavy or masculine or feminine. It's just the way I read the energy. But angels really are asexual. Archangel Shamuel also connects us to deep authenticity and that clarity that helps us heal conflict. It's a very loving, very sweet energy, very soft, pale green aura. So sometimes if you want to bring in a particular angel, just thinking about that color can also really invoke their energy, really in a beautiful way. Um, and of course, after Taurus, we have Gemini. And Gemini is an energy of air. It's an air sign. Gemini is where we have the full moon tonight. So this morning and tonight. So that's all about communication. And the energy that is assigned, the angel that's assigned to Gemini is actually Zadkiel. And Zadkiel is more of a stronger angel. That is the angel of forgiveness. And As Zadkiel, though he's a very strong angel, feels masculine to me, um, also is very empathetic, brings a lot of empathy into our energy. And Gemini needs that because sometimes Gemini, being an air sign, can be very much in the head. So that archangel energy of Zadkiel brings Gemini down into the heart a little bit and helps us remember that vital info that makes us human. Also, Zadkiel assists us in studying things. So if you ever have to take a test, bring in that Gemini energy, that energy of communication and flowing, ruled by Mercury, our air sign, our brains, our thought process. So if you have to take a test, bring in Gemini and Zadkiel because it's going to really help you be reminded of what you need to know. It's going to make you have logic, but also compassion. And the color of Zadkiel is a deep indigo blue, almost like Archangel Michael, but more of a deep, deep indigo, like a little bit of purple or lavender in there for Zadkiel. And then, of course, after Zadkiel is Cancer. And can you guys guess what Archangel is for Cancer? It's actually Gabriel, my very most favorite angel. Gabriel has a copper energy to him. And Gabriel, I always see as almost like a cherub type energy, just a beautiful, beautiful energy. The reason why Archangel Gabriel is my favorite energy is because Archangel Gabriel brings us in messages, clear messages, and that beautiful copper aura. And Cancer is very soulful, it's a very heartfelt energy. So having beautiful Archangel Gabriel there helps us go into the soul and really be able to communicate with source energy and hear those clear messages. If you wear a lot of copper jewelry, you will be able to have a lot of clarity in your life as well, because that's the color of copper is also Gabriel's aura. Gabriel is also associated with the golden ray of Christ, which is very symbolic for Cancer energy because Cancer is the moon, which is thought of as the soul and the source, right? Our source energy, our God energy. So that golden ray of Christ comes in. When you call in Archangel Gabriel, not only does he bring in clear messages and help you to really feel your heart space and your soul, but also will give us a lot of artistic projects, birthing ideas, and also can allow you to let go into that heart space and bring that letting go, that nurturing that we need to be strong enough to let go of things. So that Cancer energy and Archangel Gabriel can really assist us with that. Next up is Leo, that beautiful fire energy. Leo is the sun. And of course, Leo is Archangel Raziel. Raziel, Raziel. Not a very heard of angel. I studied him for a long time. But Archangel Raziel is the angel of mystery. And the reason why he's chosen for Leo is because Leo is ruled by the sun, and Archangel Raziel lights our darkness. So it's beautiful that we have this source of light, this source of our life flow, that sun. And then we have this angel that sheds light on the mystery of those things and that support of the metaphysical studies. Um, Raziel also boosts self confidence because remember, the sun is our life force, that Leo life force, right? That lion of the jungle. Um, and when you need to heal something from your past or a past life energy, go into the Leo energy and that sun energy of Raziel because it's a rainbow aura, which is a very high octave. A lot of people think of Archangel Raziel and that Leo sun being, going into the sun and into the higher octave of higher beings and light beings. Rainbow energy always really kind of brings that in for me. The other thing you can think about when you bring in Leo energy and the Archangel Raziel is that sun lighting the dark, but also allowing you to step out of your own shadow, which is so important in this energy, because I think that a lot of the depravity, a lot of the intensity of the world brings us into our own shadows, the things that our own fears come through and are fearful about. And having some light from source to bring us those shadows and not be so afraid is really important. And Leo and Archangel Raziel are beautiful energies to work with in order to light your darkness so you don't have that fear of the intensity of the days that we have now. Um, Aaron said he was watching last week's show on accident. Well, I'm glad you found me, Aaron. Joanna Maya's here. Hey, everybody. And Michelle Allen just joined. We're up to Virgo. If you tune in late, you can play the show back. I'm always on Spotify, of course, and also on Zencuda on YouTube, which please subscribe if you haven't and share the show. This is a very interesting show, isn't it? So the next up is Virgo. You can play the show back if you missed your sign or your spouse's or partner's sign or someone you want to think about what the energy is like. Virgo happens to have one of my favorite energies of angels. Virgo has the energy of Archangel Metatron. I love Metatron. I have oftentimes worked with a sound healer named Rick Bader. I know a lot of you know him, and he also brings in Metatron a lot. We first actually discovered Metatron around the same time and had a lot of conversations about him. Metatron is a very heavy energy. When Metatron comes into a meditation, you know it because the vibration is not angelic like ee. The vibration when Metatron comes in is like boom, boom, boom. It's almost like that old cartoon we used to watch called Gargantua. When Metatron comes in, at first you're like, what the heck is that? But Metatron is a really great energy. He's known as the scribe of God because he actually passes information from God to humans. When you start channeling energy from Metatron, or Metatron comes into your energetic field, you start getting some amazing channels. And that's what happened to me. I have a lot of them, recorded and written down, which I'm going to put in a book. We're working on that for this on my winter project. But the other reason why I was really amazed when Metatron came in for me, and that Virgo energy, of course, Virgo is putting yourself in service, right? So Virgo and the Metatron energy is actually like this color. It's just a deep, beautiful violet, like almost like an eggplant with tones of green. And it's just the most beautiful energy. It's very powerful healing. And Virgo, of course, is the healing energy. Virgo is Virgos like to be in service. Nurses are Virgos, doctors are Virgos. Very powerful healing energy. If you have something to heal, work with the Virgo archetype, work with Archangel Metatron. For those of you who studied the teachings of Enoch, Metatron was Enoch's teacher. He helps new seekers. If you're just getting on the path of soul work and really learning how to be in your soul space and work with energetic angels or God or whatever energy you're really trying to become spiritual with, um, Metatron helps you on that path. He comes in with seekers. He supports psychic children or indigo children. He supports all esoteric knowledge. If you're trying to read a book about something, I know my beautiful friend Yvonne gave me a book that I'm trying to get through now. And reaching out to Metatron to help you understand it and bring you the knowledge is a beautiful way to do it. That Virgo energy of that deep healing space of service, and Metatron really passing the information from God to us. It's just amazing, amazing energy. I can't talk enough about Metatron. So bring in that Virgo energy in Metatron. Metatron also works with the Merkaba. I know some of you don't know what that is. Look it up. The Merkaba, very powerful geometric shape that is the sacred geometry. If you've ever studied that, spent about a year studying sacred geometry. I know I'm getting too deep on you guys, right? My Scorpio planets are getting a little furry. All right. Well, that's because we have a lot of energy moving towards Scorpio in December. Okay. So here we go. So Libra, my personal sun sign, although I don't feel so much like a Libra these days because my progress chart has me very Sagittarian. But Libra has the Archangel Jophiel. And Jophiel is an archangel, like a patron of the arts. And the reason why we choose that to be, and it's fitting for that to be the patron of Libra, is because Libras are very artistic. If you know a Libra, they love to have their home beautiful. They love certain beautiful things. They have to have their clothes a certain way. Color is very important in their life. They'll set a table and it has to be matchy and look beautiful. And the presentation of the food is as important as the food. Librans are very, very into artsy kind of things and beautiful surroundings and no clutter. And so Archangel Jophiel is the angel of beauty. The aura is a dark, dark pink. Jophiel enhances creativity, and Libras are very creative. A lot of your interior designers are Librans. Your artists are Librans. So if you need to have some help with art, go into the Libran archetype and Archangel Jophiel, who will help you beautify your surroundings and clear clutter, uplift your spirit, enhance your creativity, release your inner god or goddess, right? Do the goddess pose if you do yoga. Um, the other thing I love to reach out to Jophiel sometimes if I'm trying to decorate something, like with my den right now, which is really frustrating for me because I'm trying to remodel it. Um, Jophiel will make order out of chaos. So she's a really beautiful energy to bring in, that Libra harmony, balance, and Jophiel will really help you with that. So next up is our Scorpio. Okay. Scorpio's archangel is Jeremiel. And Jeremiel is a very interesting energy. Jeremiel is called the mercy of God. And the reason why it's chosen as the archangel of Scorpio is because Scorpio is the deep dive. Scorpio is, where we do our shadow work, where we really confront a lot of our deepest places. So Archangel Jeremiel supports that life review. A lot of times when we're on the spiritual trek or we've had some tragedy or abduction in our life, we have a loss, we go into a place of meeting source or praying or going into some kind of spiritual place where we start to become very introspective. That's the cycle of loss. So Scorpio is that cycle. It's you go down into the depth and then rise the phoenix from the ashes. That's the Scorpion archetype. So Archangel Jeremiel actually supports those life reviews that we do when we're doing the deep dive to come back up. So if you're doing that, if you're looking right now to heal loss, or you're really going into that dark night of the soul, pray to Archangel Jeremiel and bring in that Scorpion energy, because that mercy of God, which is Jeremiel's place in the archangel hierarchy, will heal the past, support courage so that you can review and do the deep dive. Jeremiel will also promote new beginnings in your life, because that's what the deep dive is about. Loss is really about new beginning. Grief is really about new beginning. It's coming in to propel us into a different place. It's taking us out of an environmental container that is no longer useful, that we've outgrown, but we don't want to admit, or we don't have the courage to do it. So the universe will rip it away. We'll have a Scorpion experience, and then we'll rise like the phoenix rising from the ashes. So pray to Jeremiel if you're in that situation. It'll aid that life review, promote the new beginning, give you forgiveness, move you out of grudges, and help you develop your visions and understandings, even in a clairvoyant way sometimes, because when we suffer deep loss or grief, many times that will open us. And Jeremiel is that deep, deep purple, purple, purple aura. Some kind of like the colors in my Zencuda logo. Next up is Sagittarius, which is Ragwell. Ragwell is also one of my favorite energies. I have had experiences where I go to sleep and pray to Ragwell if I'm having a fight with a friend or a fight with my brother or something, and I'll pray to Ragwell. And when I wake up in the morning, like, I get the miraculous phone call or the miraculous words. It's just such a beautiful, beautiful energy. Ragwell is aquamarine aura. I have this beautiful aquamarine earrings that sometimes I wear when I'm trying to resolve conflict with the help of Ragwell. Ragwell is the friend of God. Ragwell is the mediator, the peacekeeper, Raguel, if anyone wants to look Ragwell up. Bringing Ragwell in, using aqua color crystals to do that. I have one that I brought upstate with me. It was given to me by my friend, and I brought upstate with me to heal family karma when I went for a family reunion a couple of years ago, and I really kind of programmed that crystal to work with Ragwell energy, and it has healed so many beautiful relationships in my family of origin. So Ragwell, friend of God, Sagittarian energy, which is that outgoing light, fire, the twinkle around the fireplace, the sparklers at 4th of July, that's energy, the party starter, the loving life. So Ragwell and Sagittarius bring harmony to groups. They repair relationships, guide action to balance. Also, if you're traveling and you don't want glitches, Ragwell will get you there. So you want to say a little prayer of Ragwell when you get in the car or the plane, and it will bless social gatherings. So Ragwell is just a beautiful, happy angel, so fitting for that Sagittarius energy that just loves the party. So if ever you have a conflict, call on Ragwell to be your mediator and peacekeeper. Next up, of course, is Capricorn, my little earthbound Capricorns. Capricorn is Azriel. And if you look up Azriel, don't be surprised if you see she's the angel of death. It's really just, words. What Azriel really is the angel of comfort and support. A lot of times, if I have to go to a wake or a funeral, I have someone who just recently had a loss, I will send Archangel Azriel to them, because Azriel is the angel of transition and rebirth. And it's the angel of change, which is, again, what we're talking about with loss. It's meant to change things. But Capricorn is the energy of earth and practicality. It's ruled by Saturn, which is loss. And Saturn is also restriction. But again, the universe doesn't do things to harm us. The universe does things to bring us to a higher consciousness. So if you're in that place of transition and ultimate rebirth, which is what, I don't like to use the word death. It's rebirth. It's transition. Azrael will bring comfort to grief, help souls cross over. If you're working in hospice or you're working with someone who's, dying, I've helped a lot of people cross over in my life. You bring in Azrael because she's the transition angel of rebirth. they're dying here, but they're birthing somewhere else. She also helps with addictions because, a lot of times people will say once they're able to break an addiction, it's almost like a rebirth. She supports reinvention and change. I was just having this conversation with someone this morning about grief and loss and how what it does is really propel you into the reinvention stage. That's the word, reinvention. And supports ascension. And she has a creamy white aura. Many, many times when I do mediumship readings, I will see people in like a white aura. And that's because Archangel Azrael brings them through. She's that transitional angel. All right. So that's the angel of change, Capricorn, and Archangel Azrael. And then we have Aquarius, lighter energy here. Aquarius is ruled by Uriel. Many of you are familiar with Archangel Uriel. Uriel inspires new ideas. Uriel also supports teaching and knowledge. The reason why she's associated with Aquarius is because Aquarius is very future oriented. Aquarius is ruled by the planet Uranus, and it's all about science and technology and all of those kind of things. So she's paired up with the Archangel Uriel because that's inspiration, new ideas, propelling things forward. Think of like the space program, I'm sure that somewhere in, for instance, the name just went out of my head, the Tesla person. Um, I'm sure that he is definitely got Aquarius in his chart heavily because it's all future oriented. Elon Musk. Um, so Uriel inspires new ideas. She brings innovation, invention. If you're looking to go on a new path in life, you want to bring in that Aquarian and Uriel energy. She also balances healthy detachment with compassion because Aquarians can be very detached at times. And so if you need a little bit more compassion, if you're writing or you're speaking and you want the speech to have some beautiful balance and inspiration, bring in Uriel energy and that Aquarian energy. She's known as the angel of the future, and she has a yellow aura. And then, of course, last but not least, bringing in the rear, the 12th house of the zodiac is Pisces, our beautiful Pisces energy. And Pisces energy is Sandalphon. And Sandalphon carries our prayers to God. So why is Sandalphon associated with Pisces? Because Pisces, if you look at the Pisces archetype, Pisces sign is the two fish swimming in different directions with a connection. Pisces is connecting the material world and source. A fish swimming in both ways because he has the cross of incarnation between him. He's born of source, not sauce, not tomato sauce. He's born of source and comes into the world, but he knows both. That's the Piscean connection. If you look at this symbol, you'll see it a lot in the Catholic and Christian churches because back in the day when they had churches first formed, especially in the Catholic religion, you couldn't talk to God. You had to go do it through a priest. Priests were the only one who could talk to God. That's why they burned Joan of Arc at the stake, because she was blasphemous, because she said she heard God talk to her, and you weren't allowed to do that. You can only talk to God through a priest. Well, that's wrong. We all know we can all talk to God. But Pisces was that energy of connection. Pisces symbolizes our connection with source energy that we bring to earth, man and God. So Sandalphon is the angel that carries our prayers to God. And strangely enough, carrying our prayers to God through music. Sandalphon is the archangel of music, because how often we hear a beautiful piece of music and we may even use the expression, wow, that really moves me. Well, what it does is it moves your energy. It brings you to a different consciousness, a different energetic frequency, a different harmonic, right? So music is energy and it carries our prayers to God. And so Sandalphon is the archangel of Pisces. So the energy of Sandalphon slips between heaven and earth, right? Those fish going in the same two different directions. Delivers messages through music, unblocks spiritual connection. If you're feeling blocked and you can't get the message, pray to Sandalphon and try and go into the Pisces archetype. It grounds fantasy in reality, because Pisces can be very unbound energy. Pisces suns can really be unbound, both in anger or in frustration, and also in fantasy. So Pisces need to ground and have energy in their chart, which is Earth. It's a very sparkly, iridescent energy. Turquoise is the color. And so that's the 12 signs of the zodiac. So do you have any questions about that? I'm going to go to my comments. I've got Michelle. Hey, Michelle. Hey, Colleen. I've got everybody watching. Elaine, Aaron, Joanne, Linda Mori. Hey, Linda. I met somebody over the weekend that knows you. I can't remember their name. Janine says yay caps, and Darlene Tard is watching as well. So isn't that really interesting that we have an angel for every sign of the zodiac? I just love that. And I love working with angels. So I'll tell you the story really quickly because I know I probably don't have a lot of time left. Um, why angels were I say I'm going back to my roots when I talk about angels. So when I first started to have psychic ability, and it was the classic story, nobody goes to church when they win lotto. We all start to, go to source and find other realms when we're really in deep loss or deep, devastation. So I had a lot of loss in my life, was going into devastation, very much deprived in every way, found myself completely alone in the world, the whole shenanigans yards. And I started to go to yoga and meditate. Shavasana was my favorite thing about yoga back then, but it was great. And I started to have communications. And it was weird at first. I was like, what the heck is going on? I thought I was going a little batty. But what I did was I realized that something was happening. And that saying, when the student is willing, the teacher appears. So all of a sudden, all these spiritual people started coming into my life. And I started realizing what was going on. And I was opening my psychic gifts. And for me, I had always had psychic gifts my whole life, completely repressed them because I thought it was anxiety. Because long ago, when I was a child, if I had a weird emotion or I didn't want to do something or I felt uncomfortable, I was labeled anxious. I was labeled in a negative way. So I thought my psychic gifts and the feelings and the things I was picking up were that. And as I got older, learned ways to keep repressing and repressing and repressing them. So here I am now in my 40s and early 40s, and I start to get, these psychic hits and these things happening. And I was really kind of estranged from a lot of people because this tragedy that happened to me, many tragedies that happened in a row, didn't want to really socialize. And I realized something was happening that was otherworldly. And the thing that was comfortable for me was angels, because I was brought up very devout Catholic. I always tell the story of my mother throwing the Ouija board out the upper story window when my sister brought one home from college and beating the hell out of all of us. Can laugh about it now. It wasn't funny at the time. And so for me, anything to do with like psychic ability or reading cards or any of that stuff was taboo. So here I am now, it's happening to me. And I'm like, oh my God, like, is this going to be like Linda Blair and The Exorcist? What's going on? And I started work with angels because they were in the Bible and they were like, quote, safe for me. So, like I do with everything, I'm very intense. So, like angels just become my whole thing, and I became so enmeshed in angels that I just studied them and had so much comfort from them being around me, and I could feel them. And then they started bringing messages, and I started to work in the angelic realm. And this is going back now a decade ago, a little more, about 13 years ago, 14 years ago, and maybe more than that. I don't know. Yeah, and I was just so comfortable for me that it was just a beautiful energy that I love to work in. I still do to this day. And so the auras, the colors, the different archetype of each angel, feeling their energy, knowing they were with me was such a comfort to me in that time of transition for me to learn to believe certain things that I didn't believe yet. And so now oftentimes I'll do a reading and someone will come to me for a reading in order to challenge me because they are on a path, but they don't want to believe it, or they are dragged there by a partner who doesn't really believe in spiritual realms and things that I believe in. And they'll oftentimes say, well, I don't really believe in this, or I don't really believe you could talk to someone on the other side, or I don't really believe in astrology. And I always say, well, you don't believe in it yet, because something often happens to people in their life where they'll start to believe. So angels were that for me. Angels confirmed for me my gifts in a beautiful way. They opened me, they opened my heart. I feel like I'm tearing up. They opened my heart and my soul to a whole world that I had repressed for most of my life. And when they finally came in and allowed me and helped me and worked with me and took my hand and did that, it was the most beautiful experience, and that's when my life really began, because that was when I started to accept who I was and things that I do, and that's what the soul space is about, and that's what's it about every Monday when I come here and I put a camera and a microphone in front of my face to tell you all out there that you're finding your own soul spaces and you're working in your own soul spaces, and there's nothing wrong with you. This is real. It happens. It's believable. It's living, breathing universe. So just had to put that out there. So I did mention Archangel Michael before, Anita, and Archangel Michael usually has a blue aura, And I know I've done readings for you, and a lot of times he comes in around you. Archangel Michael is the patron saint of policemen, firemen, the military. He's a very strong angel. He's oftentimes depicted with like a shield and a sword. Sometimes I know there are people out there who are going to be like, wow, she's really whacked, but I know I'm not. Many times Archangel Michael will be in my bedroom at night and just watch over me, and he'll do that for everybody. He's just a beautiful angel. I had a religious medal that was St. George, my patron saint, on one side and St. Michael on the other side. It was my talisman. I wore it for many years through all of my psychic spiritual journey. It was a family heirloom. It belonged to my grandfather and my father, who both wore it. My father wore it to war and came back. It was a very strong talisman of protection for me, and I lost it. One night, I went to sleep with it on, and I woke up and it was gone, and I never found it. It wasn't in the bed. It wasn't in the bed sheets. It wasn't anywhere. We looked and looked and looked and looked and looked. And I know that it was projected to another place. I believe I just didn't need it anymore. So Archangel Michael especially is a strong angel. I know that talisman I had his energy in it, and my patron saint, St. George, who is the dragon slayer, two of the most strong, most powerful, most warrior-like angels that you can ever pray to are Michael and St. George. And I know that they took that talisman from me to prove to me that I was strong enough in my own container, in my own right, and no longer needed that artificial thing, because the energy was with me always. So that's how important Archangel Michael is. That's my little Archangel Michael story. Um, but Archangel Michael does not have a patron saint of the zodiac, but he is a patron saint of militia, policemen, firemen. A lot of times, hospital workers also will invoke Archangel Michael. He's the strongest, most amazing warrior angel. He's the archangel. He's like the toppity top of the hierarchy. You have seraphim, you've got, all kinds. I mean, if you study angels, there's a whole hierarchy. You've got 12 archangels, then you've got the seraphim, you've got all kinds of things. There's a beautiful book out. If I get it, I'll put it online, the title and everything. That was one of my Bibles for a long time. But I think that's just about the show, guys. So if you want to know any more about angels, put it in the comments. I'll answer it afterwards. I'm here every Monday night. I'm sorry I get carried away with angels. They're just my thing, and I really sometimes forget to work with them because I work with so much other energies. But then when I go back to my angels, they're just like patting me on the back. So thank you so much for watching the Soul Space. You guys know where to find me on Facebook, on Georgia Rose Zencuda, on Zencuda on YouTube. Please go out over there because we've got over 150 videos. The show's always banked there. You can find me on Spotify, and then you can find me on Instagram on Zencuda Official. Thanks so much. I love each and every one of you guys. I'll be back next Monday at 7 o'clock in the Soul Space. Please share the show. Bye-bye.